It's Christmas, guys. Oh, well, yeah. Well, it is. No? It's Christmas month.
So.
So, yeah. What is so?
It's not Christmas for most people. Most Ghanaians are not feeling the vibe yet. And I don't know, for some reason, I don't know if it's because we are older now, but when we're much, much younger, but this time, like, you start feeling, you know, you start getting frenzy and all that. And then you start to see the decor and all. I haven't seen anything.
Oh, I've seen the decor.
No, I haven't
seen decor at many shops.
I haven't.
And
well,
in some homes
it's because
well.
I haven't been to any shop. My tree is up, by the way. My tree is up, but...
So you're in the Christmas mood if your tree is up?
Well, December is a little tricky for me because some of the unfortunate events of my life happened in December as well. And last year was a very tough December. Two Decembers ago was the toughest. Last year was tough as well. So it just brings me the memories and everything. But I'm very grateful that I'm alive. That's the most important thing. Very, very grateful that I'm alive. But interesting times in our country.
You'll be fine.
I was here. Oh, I'm good by the grace of God.
Should I pray for you?
So I was listening to, I was back there when I was listening to George and yourself when you were speaking about how confused the whole country is. And, you know, the funny thing is, it's not just us, let me say, the people at the back who are confused. Even the MPs themselves, most of them are confused. And it would interest you to know, yesterday I was listening to Honorable Muntaka. You know, before they converge in the House officially to sit, to vote and all that, there are pockets of meetings that goes on behind closed doors and all that. And I was surprised when he said they sat, both sides sat down and they started negotiations. You remember the 5 things they wanted out of, or they wanted to see in the budget. Number 1, they wanted to see e-levy scrapped. They didn't want a Japa in there at all. They wanted to see the budget or what was going towards the building of the Keta Sea Defense. And then they also wanted
energy deal.
Exactly.
They wanted that out.
Yes, and Parliament's budget as well. They wanted that work done. So I was listening to him yesterday when he said when they sat down, they actually as NDC members proposed that, okay, if you still want to tax Momo, it's okay. Maybe it's an avenue to mobilize revenue for the country. It's okay if you want to tax it, but consider the people who are poor, the vulnerable in society, and start from 0.5. Don't do 1.75, but come to 0.5. That one, a lot of people, yes, but it's manageable. It's way better than 1.75. They George, and at the end of the day, the MPP said they can only do 1.5. So they only took 0.25 off the 1.75 and it came to 1.5. And they said, no, it's still too high. Why do you want to do this to the poor and vulnerable in society? So there was a lot of, and it wasn't just that alone. It was the Japan, it was the Parliament's budget, it was so many other things. So it felt like the MPP had taken an entrenched position. They were not ready to budge or anything. What they just wanted to do was what they wanted to do. Now, the confusion as to if Honorable Joe Osei is actually capable of voting as he is acting as Speaker of Parliament is what I don't really get.
So he
this
didn't
morning.
Even cast a vote yesterday.
He didn't. Exactly.
He only exercised his privilege as a member.
Member of Parliament, exactly. Yes. Yeah. So it's a little dicey this morning. We'll still wait. But Haruna Idrisu has also pushed back and he says, well, you can decide that because you're 138 or because you felt that you're 138, you've approved the budget. But when it comes to the final stage, which is the estimate and appropriation, that is when we will get to you because it requires a 2/3 majority. It's not going to be half and half anymore. So continue to do whatever you feel you can do, or if you feel like, yes, yesterday you were 138, even though we're not there, you have approved, continue. But when it gets to the estimates and appropriations level, that is when we'll show you Pepe. And I'm just thinking, many people have been speaking, stakeholders have been speaking and saying that, listen, don't do this MPP NDC thing, both of you would have to come to a consensus. It's like marriage. When there are issues in the marriage, you just can't get up like that and go. All of you are tied. There are people that you're serving. You are serving, what, 30 million people. You can't just stand on one side and say, okay, we are not doing this, and another side says, okay, this is what we are doing. We would all have to come to a consensus and say that, okay, these things we are taking out, these things we are adding on. As a country, this is the Ghanaian dream, and this is where we are going as a people. So I'm just waiting for the finality on this 2022 budget.
Very fair, I mean, opinion on this. And again, with the minority, one of the other things that they were asking was that, okay, if you don't want to reduce the 1.75, at least increase the threshold from 100 to 500. In fact, they started from 500, and that is Honorable Afenyo Markin, the Deputy Majority Leader, speaking on this. And he said they asked them to increase it to 500. And the MPP leaders said no. Rather, you know, 500 is not good enough. And then the NDC said, okay, take it to 300. And even that, it was still not agreed on. However, they were expecting that the majority would at least include all the concessions, because the finance minister, even before the vote was cast in parliament, he was given the chance to speak, and he said that go ahead and approve the budget and we will include the concessions. Now, minority is saying that, how do you agree on such a thing? We want to see it in print before we even vote, so that we don't now come into the chamber, vote, and then later you tell us that, well, it wasn't included anyway, so what's the point? And so they said that they were not going to be a part of it. However, yesterday, again, I listened to lawyer Kasati. Her full name is lawyer Clara Basir Kasati, and she's a law lecturer at the University of Ghana. And they posed a question to her that she quoted the law 104, 109, standing order and all that. And they asked her that, okay, if minority had been in the chamber, because again, 104, and let me just read a bit of what it says, that 104.3 says, where the votes on any motion are equal, it shall be taken as a loss. So if the minority had been in parliament with their 137, in fact, in the chamber, at the time that the voting was taking place, and of course, we know that the majority had only 137 members, because again, the
Honorable Jose
could not vote.
Is
so if minority had been in the chamber, then it would have been a 137 vote. And so then they would have still maintained that rejection of the budget, instead of majority having the upper hand to rescind the decision. So she thought that it was wrong for minority to have been out there. And that's the question that we're asking all of them. That
why didn't they show up at all?
That you will not agree to this. Okay, you know what the law says. You've quoted the law many times. Why were you not in there, so that we can have that equal number, just so that we can go ahead and reject the budget? It's a very fair question that Ghanaians are asking. I mean, they've given reasons why. Yesterday, Honorable Mutaka was explaining that, you know, there was already some untoward something that happened, so which is why they did not even agree to be in the chamber anyway. I just need a lot more explanation, because if the law says present and voting, at least majority of members present and voting, well, they may have had majority present. But if the vote was cast and it was only 138, because Honorable Kojo Oponkuma says the speaker did not cast a vote, he was only a member. So if he was only a member and he did not vote, then how do you then say that
it was 138?
You've approved the budget and it's 138. It's very confusing. And if you look at it plainly like that, then that means that the budget has not been approved.
It's not been approved.
So I have a problem, like you said, that they are supposed to be working together. That is what the equal numbers in Parliament is about. And Honorable Inusaf Hussaini said that he's very worried about that, because the reason why they made these changes in Parliament was to give them equal numbers, you know, so that they can at least deliberate on issues and come up with an agreement. But you don't do that. Happening. And now both have taken entrenched positions. Minority says, we will not agree. Majority says, we're going with it anyway. At the end of the day, we Ghanaians are the ones who suffer.
Exactly.
We suffer, because whether we like it or not, we're going to end up paying that levy. Whether it's 1.75, 1.5, 0.5, I really don't get it. But let's go back to Parliament, by the way, and take a look at proceedings on the floor of Parliament and see how things went down.
If they claim that they respect the Constitution, they must respect the fact that today's decision is a constitutional nullity, because the Deputy Speaker has no original nor casting vote. Nothing more. And therefore, they were at best 137. If they claim that they respect the Constitution, they must respect the fact that today's decision is a constitutional nullity, because the Deputy Speaker has no original nor casting vote. Nothing more. And therefore, they were at best 137.
And that is the minority leader in Parliament.
They had a presser yesterday.
He said quite
it was amazing how they didn't
yesterday.
show up, but had the time to actually deliver a presser yesterday. Yeah, everybody was expecting it though.
Yeah.
But like you said, why didn't you show up in the House? You know, that's the question. But anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Why didn't you show up? And so what happens now? Because yesterday as well, there was a demonstration by persons with disability who were working at the various toll booths.
Yeah.
Because ideally, as such yesterday, the budget had not been passed. Whether it was rejected or not, constitutionality, that's the debate for the parliamentarians. But as such yesterday, it had not been passed. Now, why do we go ahead and you know, implement a part of the budget that says that we should cease collection of tolls at the toll booths if it had not been passed? And now you tell us that you're going to immediately reassign these persons who were working at the toll booths who have now lost their jobs. When was that? That was on the 17th of November. Today is the 1st of December. They don't know their way forward, whether they're going to be reassigned, where are they going to be reassigned to, which institution, and how soon is that going to be, to happen? Now you're telling us that they'll receive their salaries. But if they receive their salary for November, let's say that December, you don't reassign them on time. Would you still pay them?
Yeah.
Or are they going to go home without a job and without salary?
Yeah.
And so they hit the streets yesterday, and I felt for them. Because, again, they all kept saying that. There was a woman who said that she applied for a job, and when she went to the institution, they told her that, but for someone like you, you're catered for by the president, because he says that persons living with disabilities are going to have a permanent solution, which is having jobs at the toll booths and other places. And so we don't even need to hire you because you don't need the job. Now this has happened, and she's questioning that what's going to happen to me moving forward. It's really unfair. And it did not address the issue of traffic at the toll booths, because again on Monday, it's different if you are going into Tema and there's traffic. But those of us who are coming from Tema on the motorway had to endure some traffic. Lots of cars. We still endure traffic. And so how are we addressing the issue of traffic, by closing seizing the collection of road tolls? It has not addressed it. And it's not just the motorway. Even at Kaswa yesterday, there were people who said that there was traffic on the Kaswa stretch as well. So what's happening? We've lost about 5 to 6 million Ghana cedis since the roads minister implemented that without legal backing from, Parliament. What's going to happen? Really, it's a major concern, and I wish that he would come out and say something. It's like nobody is saying much. All they care about is either rejecting or passing the budget, and we're in the middle and we're suffering for it.
When we get to the big issue, maybe some of the communicators will have some answers for us. I don't know at this moment, but we'll just wait. This is still TV3 New Day. Later on, of course, on the show episode, we'll be joining us. There's a lot that we have for you today. But first of all, the big issue coming up with Bella Mundi and our guests. We'll be right back.